I think I had them. I think I was muted that entire time, but we're going to be talking about the markets. Got a guest coming on. We're pinned between a very critical level, so we're going to pay attention to that and talk about what we need to. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Let's get some music going, and we're going to be talking about exactly what's going on. Make sure you retweet this. Tomorrow, we got that giveaway, so everybody get involved.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish shelter. It's not our fault. Blame the coal. It's the political cowards when it comes to gas. Our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role.
Are you ready
Bitcoin,
to dive
pump,
into these charts? Look at
altcoin,
these
pump.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Depending on how you think about it, and I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
So that we can stay on top of this market, we can stay ahead of the trend. With that being said, let's get into it. Drop a 1 in chat if you're ready to get into this. Drop a 2 in chat if you're feeling grateful today. Drop a 3 in chat if you've been stacking for months or years and you are ready for this to take off. Let's go. I don't know what happened there. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy Daily Stream. Hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful day. Hope you're feeling good. Hope the portfolio's looking good. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of chop, but nobody should be down massively right now because we're sitting at basically this breakout range at a resistance. So with that being said, everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We've got already 72 people in the room, and a bunch of people will be pouring in here in just a few minutes, as it always happens. So I hope you're all feeling good. Let's go ahead and dive in to what we're seeing on these charts. I'm on the 7-minute chart. I just want to point something out to you. 3 patterns in a row on the 7-minute chart that have broken out exactly, 2 in a row. We're in the third one now, breaking out exactly the direction that these patterns are suggesting. Rising channels tend to break bearish. What do? We did break bearish, but in addition to this, we can actually extend this out. And it did, look at this, breakdown, confirmation of breakdown, fall. Within that pattern alone, we also had a descending level of resistance, flat level of support, broke down from that. Now we are, and these tend to break to the downside. Now we are in a smaller time frame. We got a broadening wedge here. These tend to break bullish. The question is, this does not have a terminal date. This could go all the way down, much like we drew the other day, of a potential pullback down into this $63,000, $64,000 range. But what does the chart say? What does the data say? What is going on? I do think I'm so excited about everything going on here, and we've got some really great things that we want to look at, but this is what the market is feeling. This is what the market is waiting for. This is what we've been stacking into our positions for, because we are waiting for this, the bull just breaking out of the pen and the price action pushing to the upside. Now, we should be having a guest pop on here in a little bit. He may or may not show up. He has some things going on, but regardless, we got some charts to break down. So let's look at it. Let's zoom back out here. Let's look at the 2-hour chart and just re-identify. We're sitting right in this range of this previous range top that we've just been rejecting off of. And we have these 2 different zones, and we are sitting right in between this zone right here, almost like it was like a self-identified consolidation region on the chart. And that's exactly what we're doing. In fact, what this is looking like, even with this move up here on the 2-hour, This does not mean it's just going to break out and go all the way back up. In fact, we may push up into this, have a lower high, and then get that move to the downside. But coming into this zone, I think will be incredibly advantageous for the bulls. That doesn't mean I don't think the bulls are ready. It just means what time frame are we looking at? Does it mean by the end of this weekend? I think by the end of this weekend, we could be up over 70, but we could also have a little bit more of a correction down into this zone. But the things are heating up on the bullish case. So when I outline any bearish possibility, it's at this point in time where we're at in price structure. I'm speaking of it in the relationship of being a small corrective retrace, which in fact would be more of a bear trap before we do get higher. I do think we're getting higher. If you think we're going to be going higher by the end of this month, so within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, throw a 1 in chat if you're not feel like it's just like you want it to. Do you really think that we are going to have basically a close higher than where we're at the end of October? Or do you think we're going to have a bigger corrective move? We've got some big dates coming up and we have some incredible data. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the things that we are seeing. This is what we're waiting on. So let's go. Now we got over 100 people in here. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, and make sure as we're getting going, I'll say this again here in a little bit. Let's come over to my page right here at Kelly Kellum or at BitLab Academy. Come here, hit that retweet button, hit that like button. I don't know why this didn't live stream yesterday, but that's okay. We are here now, so let's do it. When you retweet this and hit that like button, this enters you to win. We've given away money. We've given away memberships. We've given away merchandise. We've given away all kind of things. In fact, when we get a lot of engagement on certain days or on certain streams, we give out more than one giveaway. So shout out to all the people out there that have won in the past. Now, coming in here, what are we looking at? Bitcoin ETFs cumulative flows are now over 20 billion. What does this mean? Why is this bullish? As you might have seen on other channels as well, when we look at the data here, we see that this is bullish because Bitcoin ETFs have crossed 20 billion. Why is that bullish? Because this is the most important metric to grow in the ETF world. That is incredible. For first time after a huge week of 1.5 billion, for context, it took gold ETFs 5 years to reach the same number of 20 billion of cumulative flows. 5 years for gold. It's almost like the torch is getting passed and the speed and the effectiveness of this technology is getting realized. And how, it's one of the mechanisms of technology is the shrinking of time it takes to do something. And what we're seeing here, we've only just begun. In fact, when we look at the flows of this is money coming into ETFs, this is money coming out of ETFs, we got a little bit of a tightening here, but now we're getting, look at this, push to the upside, downside, higher low, pushed higher right here, got a little bit of a pullback. Are we about to get that next major leg up in ETF inflows, meaning people buying these Bitcoin spot ETFs? Things are about to get very exciting. Things are about to see this bull running through the fields. So let's pay attention to what's going on there. And in fact, when we look at what's going on, Henrik Zeberg says, Bitcoin minimum 60% rally coming. Now, why is this? Every time we have seen confirmation of the three following indicators, Bitcoin has rallied by a minimum of 60%. RSI weekly breaking down downward trend, breaking the downward trend. So you see this downward trend, this broke out of this, kind of retested and is setting up almost like, a bottoming pattern here on this metric and looking like it is angled to make that next leg to the upside. All the while, we see the MACD. Again, this is on the weekly chart. We see the MACD crossing over, looking to cross bullish right here. And then, of course, you have the RVGI in bullish crossover right here, much like we see here, We can see how this has played out. He has marked this out beautifully of the setup that is presented in the chart right now. The data, not the price, not the sentiment, not all the talking heads of us here on YouTube talking about, oh, we're bullish. No, the data underlying the chart of the buying pressures, the momentum, and also price structures are suggesting that the bullishness is coiled up. It has been suppressed long enough. We're about to see some fireworks. Now, that could be by the end of this week. It also could be by the end of November. We have seen markets prove that they can remain irrational longer than most people can remain solvent. Most people making money, making moves. Most people making moves in the market right now are taking losses because they're trading the wrong side of each move, because they're trading emotionally. Those, like the whales we've seen over the last 6 months, stacking millions of dollars, billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, while some people are trading every high, they're basically taking along only to have it reversed, clearing out, flushing out that liquidity, going back to the downside, flushing it out, rinse and repeat. In fact, we're seeing the same setup right now. This is what we're seeing right now on the 12-hour chart on the liquidation heat maps. What do we see? We see a liquidity both above and below. So we have some people that are like, no, these people up here are taking shorts, which is giving this liquidity above. And the people down here, remember, when I'm talking about longs and shorts, and we're talking about liquidations, for all of you that are new to these markets, what I'm talking about is not buying. If you go to Coinbase and just say buy, right? That is a spot purchase, meaning you're spending $10, you're getting $10 worth of Bitcoin. When I'm talking about liquidations, this is people that are taking derivative plays, taking options plays, taking leveraged positions. So they're taking an exponent multiple bet, like a 10x, a 3x, a 40x, a 100x. And that brings basically the point at which the price, if it moves in the opposite direction from which they are betting, whether they're betting long up or they're betting short down, if the price moves in the opposite direction, they are either forced to close to mitigate some of their losses. Because remember, if you're doing 10x and you're hoping to get 10x gains, if it moves in the opposite direction, you're taking 10x in losses. So 1% move on Bitcoin, if you're 10xing in leverage, that is a 10% loss. So what you're seeing when you're looking at this sort of chart is that there's leverage coming into these markets, providing liquidity both above and below. This is these very hot yellow zones we're seeing on the charts, showing that people are getting a little too excited about it going down. So this is that liquidity. These are people that are too excited about it going up. This is that liquidity. So we're kind of trapped in maybe a little bit of a whipsaw setup for price action moving down, flushing that out, and then moving up, flushing, basically clearing the leverage on both directions. This is very important to pay attention to right now, because when we're looking at some of the things in these charts and we want this, we're seeing a lot of flow. There's bullishness. This is ripe opportunity to get a little bit of that bear trap that does completely catch people off guard and basically trigger those emotional reactions in the market. But what does this mean when the market actually does break out, whether it's, again, at the end of this week or sometime next month? Well, Bitcoin is only just warming up. Short-term holder NVRV, which is the market value to realized value, is only just starting to break above its long-term mean, which means there is some distance before profit taking slows us down. AKA, when we're looking at this chart, this is basically this oscillation. This is a measurement of the price action as it relates to this slower moving average here. This is a market value is a black line, realized value here. The average price of every coin in circulation the last time it moved. So you're getting sort of that realized moving average of every coin on network. When you see this huge spread, see how this spreads far? This is this metric here. And remember, we have an entire course on-chain data analysis within BitLab Academy. Make sure you're taking advantage of this, especially before the markets break out. The link is right there, lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Again, you can see it right there on the bottom. It says lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. We have technical analysis, candle patterns, trading strategies, organizing the allocations in your portfolio, tokenomics, on-chain data analysis, psychology of trading, all of that and more in there. If you're having any issues with that, I know we just had a plugin update on the website, and about 2 or 3 people bought, and it wasn't giving them the role to see those courses. Just shoot me an email at help@bitlabacademy.com. We will get you sorted, but we got a huge amount of stuff in there. lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. You get 15 days free, and then you also get about a little over 33% off for the lifetime of that membership. Now, when we're looking at this is giving a metric essentially easy way to see, are you super overheated or super underheated or right at about par? We are right at par right now with a structure right here that suggests we're about to get a spread to the upside, much like we saw right here before the price action broke to the upside, much like we saw right here before we really had that parabola to the upside. This is incredible. And I've talked about short-term holder cost basis before. In this case, this MVRV is the short-term holder cost basis. So instead of measuring every coin in circulation, this is measuring only those coins that have moved in 155 days or less of being held. So coins that are, I just sold it to you. If you've held it for 90 days and you sell it, that's a short-term held coin. So it takes this faster moving average in rather than the general MVRV, which is the cost basis of every coin on network. So in this case right here, we're sitting right primed at a level that shows when we are at this level, there is a lot of room to go to get quite a bit of a spread before pretty large profit-taking moments come into the market. We're only just getting started. This is coming at some point in the very near future to a portfolio near you if you are stacking appropriately, if you're not trading emotionally. So let's make sure that we do not jack around and F around and find out, AKA have less profits in the future. And by the way, if you're not following Checkmatey, one of the pioneers in the on-chain data analysis world, make sure you give him a follow. You can see his information right there on the screen. Now, continuing on, what do we see? And where's my boy at, man? I want him to come on. Is this dude coming on? Let me shoot him a text. Got it set for you if you wanna pop in. The people are hungry for your alpha. There we go. I just shot a little message. There we go. But look at this. This is another one of those things when we're talking about a little bit of a potential for a move. And what did I just say a second ago? The whipsaw sort of setup. This is kind of highlighting that a little bit. Open interest. This is those people taking derivative long positions. Open interest hits all-time high at $39 billion. This often signals a significant price movement ahead. Careful with the leverage. And this is, see how high the open interest got back here? This is how high, look how sustainably high we've been over here. And part of this may have to do with a lot of people being aware. The wool is getting pulled back off of people's eyes. People are starting to see, and this does set up a ripe sort of opportunity to really wreck some people if you're not paying attention or if you get a little emotional, if the market does have a whipsaw to the downside. We have got a lot of open interest in the markets right now. So things are ripe for some big movements here in the very, very near future. In fact, I want you to notice in this zone right here, 7 months price action went sideways. Consider, it might have felt boring, but if you were looking at this, I want you to notice something. Let's take this example right here. Let's go ahead, go here. Price range from this zone to that. That is an $18,000 move. I want you to realize why this is so important. $18,000 move. Okay, that was followed immediately up by what? That was followed up immediately by a $16,000 pump. That was followed up immediately by, look at that, $20,600 pump. That was followed immediately. That was a dump, sorry. And then this is followed up immediately by another $15,500, almost $16,000 pump. These are massive moves. Do you all remember not so long ago when price action, I was there for it, 2015, 16 into 2017, this move right here, where's it at? We're getting there. The internet's supposed to be fast when you pay for gigabit speed. There we go. So double click here. This right here, I mean, this move, I mean, look at this. This took from March. This took from March up. That is 18,000. Okay, where's 16,000? There's let's see. There we go, about $17,000. That took from May all the way to December, over half a year. And what do we see right here where we're at right now? In the matter of just a couple weeks each time, $18,000 moves, the excitement of how much it moved back in 2017, and that was just the highest it's ever been. This is making those moves. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times in 7 months. And people are saying this market's boring. No, it's boring because you want it. You need it to go up. Don't need it. Let the market play out how it's going to play out, because it's not going to do what you need. It's going to do everything it can to move capital from the impatient to the patient. So when we see what's going on right now, let's get back down to the 2 hour. This is just sitting up here. This is starting to look a little bearish, but when we get back to that 7-minute time frame, what did we just talk about? This looked like it was going to break down. This pattern also looked like a breakdown. It broke down. Now these patterns tend to break to the bullishly. And 15 minutes after I said that, this is breaking bullish coming up out of this. This does not mean this is fully resolved to go to the upside. I'm still waiting for, we got some liquidity to tap in both directions. And when we zoom, let's go ahead and refresh this. When we look at this, look, what were we talking about? This was just here. I updated it. It's coming up towards this liquidity. In my opinion, as bullish as I am, in my opinion, I do worry a lot of people are going to so feel like this is about to run away from them. And it could. Listen, I'm positioned as such that if this just goes, fine. But if I was a betting man, I would think that this would come up into the zone, flush up, create a little bit of a trap here, come down and tap this liquidity, clear this, and then it will be able to go. Now, if it doesn't do that, I am perfectly okay with that. I'd love it just to rip and continue to rip from here. But considering how coiled up the bulls are right now, I think there's a huge, huge possibility that we could get a little bit of a trap to the upside, trap to the downside, do the whipsaw price action, and then have the ability to release this and pump to the upside. If this pushes up and we tap up to 73 and we break it, then guys, we've already positioned. I'm speaking specifically mostly to the traders. And if you are an investor, if your goal was to take positions and you're holding into next year sometime, then you really shouldn't be making any moves. If this pushes up and then reverses, and then, I'm going to position up here, and then it reverses and you sell. No. If you're a position trader, you need to stick to your strategy. Okay. None of this is financial advice. This is just breaking down how strategies work over time. I've seen it. I've done it. I've lost money. I've made money. And if you are trading, if this pushes up, if this does break up, wait for a reversal, bounce, confirmation, and then that's where you take that move. If this just breaks down into here, don't sell because it's moving down. If you think it's going to roll over, take your shot with the short order and put your stop loss, outline what your risk is in that trade, and then you can be taking advantage of the market on a strategy basis versus acting emotionally. I do want to say, when we're looking at all this and we realize, let's simplify. This is from our boy Matthew Highland. We see that almost double bottom setup here. I mean, kind of a double bottom, breakout, little hesitation here, boom, rockets right through the zone, little hesitation at the previous high, pullback, confirming this move. You see, some people get in here and then they sell right here because they're for it to break down, rather than allowing this to slice through. Wait for the confirmation, and you go to a much smaller time frame. You look for the roundingness. You look for whatever bullish divergence or whatever you're looking to capture this, roughly in this zone here. Same thing happened right here. But we're getting that confirmation currently. If we lose this level, then yeah, we're coming back into that 65 to 64 level. What does this look like in the liquidation zone? Okay, this is on the 12 hour, so we're not getting a lot of data. Right below us is a 66.4. Let's go out to the 24 hour. Actually, yeah. So let's actually go 3-day. I forget where I saw that chart. So look, so this is at 66.4, and then this is at 65 level. So there's a lot of liquidity. All this liquidity could be below us. This is why if we do push up and flush this out, I'm still watching for a potential It's not guaranteed. Some clearing, cleansing of all this liquidity that's below us. Where did yeah. Very simple when you're looking at it like this. Key levels you could be watching in these zones. Shout out to Istophobic. Sometimes the patient lose money too, like XRP. Well, yes, absolutely. But that has had narratives around it for 3 years with all the SEC allegations. So at some point, and that's also, you shouldn't have all of your bag in XRP either. There's some people that still have big and massive hopes for it. I bid you well on that. We'll see how that plays out, but it should be a portion. If it is in your portfolio, it should be a calculated allocation of what you're actually holding in your portfolio. Now, when we're looking at what's going on, we say, we all know, as bullish as we are, we're looking at this is a 7-minute chart. A lot of time frame. When we're zooming out and talking about this right here, this bull, this is relevant to what we're seeing here. Bitcoin performs best during periods of monetary expansion. It performs better than the stock market and better than gold. And we've been talking about this for months and months and months and months. And that is, we had Caleb Franzen on yesterday. Definitely go back and watch yesterday's stream if you didn't watch it. Really great information in there. He kind of cuts out all the noise. Great. Well, everybody has different strategies. I'm looking at what's going on and seeing the monetary expansion. This is the speed right here. This is the speed of the expansion. This is the same metric as this. This is just showing how fast those changes are happening. And we do have a little bit of an uptick with a little bit of a pullback. We see this right here. This also speaks to a little bit of us hesitating to have that next move, but we see what's going on in China. We see what's going on in Japan with new stimulus packages. We see that we're likely going to have a rate cut soon. We see that we have over $3 billion in debt that we're interest payments that we're paying on our debt. I think it's a day. I could be wrong. It's an enormous amount of money. And when we come back over here, and again, everybody that you tune, we got 318 people in the room. If you haven't yet, make sure you head over to my page right here. If you're watching on Twitter, all you got to do is hit that retweet button, hit that like button, and you are entered to win. We're doing the drawing tomorrow. We randomly pick a day and we randomly pick a person. And on tomorrow's stream, if we get a ton of engagement, we may even pick 2 or 3 winners. We've given away money, merchandise, courses, all kinds of different things. So head over here and hit that support button. Now, I do want to point out this right here. I did the math, and it's pretty damn close. Where is it at? This is it right here. This is astounding. Opt out of the broken system. Why is that? Because fun fact, if you burned $1 million every day since Columbus landed in 1492, you would have spent less than half of what the federal government spends in a single month. Opt out, buy Bitcoin, especially because we just started a new fiscal year. They're doing a lot of front end on their spending. Think about that. $1 million a day, every day since Columbus landed in 1492. You'd be spending basically less than the federal government spends a single month. And then we come back over to this. Now that's why this is important. They're spending more. They have to print more. So what does that mean? Bitcoin is the best asset performing when we do get this monetary expansion. Let's pay attention to that. Let's be aware of what's on the horizon. And then, of course, what do we look to? Giga candle for crypto is imminent. Giga candle for crypto is imminent, in my opinion, says Mustache here. I pointed out several times that the USDT.D is about to break down from the 7-month ascending broadening wedge. Break down. But why is that bullish? If you've been watching me for a while, you know why it's bullish. It could happen any moment. This breaking down speaks to the deployment of this, basically a stable coin saying, I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm buying Ethereum. I'm buying Solana. I'm buying more Bitcoin. Oh, let's take some profits. Okay, if this breaks down, that is capital flow into crypto assets outside of stablecoins. So we need to pay attention to this because we're not only seeing the economic and broader context of what's happening in markets being very bullish or forward-looking high likelihood of extreme bullishness, but we're also seeing the positioning of the charts and patterns on the stablecoin dominance, suggesting that some deployment going into those markets is coming very soon as well. Guys, gals, I mean, what 3 coins are you? I want you all, if you're on Twitter, comment down below the video. If you're watching this later on YouTube, comment down below the video. If you're watching this live on YouTube, get in the live chat. What 3 coins are you most bullish on this bull market? I'm curious to see what you guys are really stacking into, what you're really excited about. Even if it's I don't want meme coins and stuff like that. Like, you know, give me what you're looking at. Gabby, what's up, my friend? Dust says his biggest alt bag is Arrow. Yeah. And I'm doing some diligence on a coin. I might tell you about it tomorrow. I'll do it by the end of the week. I'm going to do it in the Signals Lab and BitLab first. A little portfolio update. A little, I won't call it a micro cap, very small cap that has some incredible metrics on it that Drew put me on about today. So I'm going to check that out. Now, coming back over into the charts, I had one other thing I wanted to share. I don't remember what it was, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and dive in and look at what's going on in this market. I do want to say there has been a number of issues that I've been seeing people have with scams, with all kind of different stuff. You know, I do want to bring up our new channel partners that I took on specifically so I could get you all this deal. It's something that I've been using for about 3 or 4 years or longer, and that is Nord VPN. Head over to nordvpn.com/BITLAB. The link is directly below in the description. If you come over on this page and scroll down right here, you see this is Bitcoin, blah, blah. Click that more area, get NordVPN free for 4 months. There's a link. I'm posting it in the live chat. If you're watching on Twitter, if you scroll down, it's one of the first comments there. The link to join our free traders group is right there. And then the NordVPN 4 months free. Sign up there. Make sure you're protecting yourself, sort of helping mask your identity online so you basically can have a significantly better shot of sort of mitigating scam potential and the different hacks that happen across the crypto ecosystem. And it's just it's a very needed thing to do in this space. Again, that's nordvpn.com/BITLAB BitLab. Now, with that being said, let's dive into these charts. Now, I guess our boy's not coming on. I was hoping he'd pop in here, but that's okay. Showing what's going on. Okay, we've talked about this. Again, I still think, especially with this roundingness, you see the size of these moves. I just want to point out, this is starting to kind of fall over just a little bit and getting much smaller. You see how these are falling over? There's some roundingness here. There's some roundingness here. Could this have a little pop-up? Sure. But this is still feeling weak. I do think that we are going to get an opportunity back here in the 65 zone. And on the 4-hour chart, look at these 2 massive order blocks. The order blocks I'm talking about are part of the BitLab trading stack indicators, which you can get at a discount right now if you go to lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. 15 days free for the Discord. And then if you want to upgrade and get the indicators and all the courses, you can you do that after you sign up right there. Now, order blocks right here below us, showing where a lot of liquidity came in these zones. So I do think this will tap into this zone at least one more time. And I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'd be excited for this just to push to the upside. Now, when we're let's go ahead and look at some other stuff because we cover so much darn Bitcoin. Ethereum, look at this. I'm a little worried that this is going to turn into basically push, chop, flush back down. And where would it flush back down to? Well, we have a massive order block right here that also is outlined by, look at this, the very top side of this right here is the bottom side of this order block. So coming down, flushing out, as Piano Matty B says, where it wicks, it will likely candlestick. And that is pushing out down here and sort of filling in this sort of gap, all this inefficiency right here, I think would be very bullish to come back down, test the mid to low 2500s for Ethereum. If this is able to push up and basically take this out, then this is where we're really watching this 2730, 2740 sort of range. Now, double click here. We do have positive money flow. We're on the 4-hour. The VWAP is still kind of held under the 0 line here. If this can push up, this will be a great signal that intention is to play that positive spread. Currently, I mean, look at this. Currently, we're still riding on the weekly VWAP, which is also right above this trend signal line, which is right in this zone. If this does lose this zone, I think we're going to have some beautiful bear traps. And if you're paying attention, that you'll be able to take advantage of those with a strategy that works for you. And ETH to Bitcoin is still just, and look at this. It's trying to form a base, and let's look at this data. Trying to form a base right here, right on the top side of this order block range. In addition to that, they're on the BitLab Intelligence, part of the BitLab trading stack. This called this perfectly with a bullish setup. No, that's a 6. That's a 6 bullish. Is that B or 5? 5 bullish divergences right here, showing strength coming in. Right when we got a potential reversal sign, boom, we got it. Another bullish setup here, and all these bullish divergences on the way up. Bearish signal, boom, down. Bullish signal after several reversal signals. There's underlying, essentially what this tells me is there's underlying bullishness that's coming in that's not yet being reflected in the chart. So it's like they're trying, and we right here, 3 reversals, boom, but then right back down, bullish setup again, 2 more bullish divergences. There's a little bit of sort of wait and see on that risk narrative in the markets. But and I forget what the guys, Matt Hogan, I think from Bitwise, he was suggesting that he thinks Ethereum could be a little bit of a dark horse in this market because it's kind of, everybody's saying, oh, it's all this focus is on Sui and Solana and all these other coins. I think a lot of people are underestimating the amount of the crypto ecosystem that is built on top of Ethereum. Remember, Ethereum is the core layer 1 in this crypto ecosystem. You got Polygon, you got the number of coins that are basically built, ERC20, that is being built on top of that fundamental underlying asset, which is Ethereum. I do think this is a bit undervalued as well. When we come over here, I do want to point out, I was looking at this yesterday, Sol, BTC, Solana is setting up for a massive, whether this is a bull flag or I think more realistically, a symmetrical triangle. This is the Solana measured against Bitcoin. So if this is breaking up, when you're looking at any asset / Bitcoin, when you're looking at it in that parameter, what you're looking at, if it's a bullish formation, like potentially this one is, this suggests that if this breaks to the upside, it is gaining value against Bitcoin. So in this case right here, measuring the distance, boom, right there, the widest point. If this breaks to the upside, this is suggesting that you're not only very likely, Bitcoin and Solana would both be moving to the upside, but this is suggesting that you're gaining 80% value over Bitcoin. So if you're holding $1,000 worth of Solana, then you're gaining the purchasing power against Bitcoin, 80% increase in purchasing power. If you look at this against Bitcoin itself, then here, that's 0.0025. This 80% gain means by the end of that Solana would be worth 0.0045 per Solana. So if you have 1,000 Solana or 100 or 10, whatever it is, you're gaining that value against how much Bitcoin you can sell that for at the end, which is, at the end of the day, that's what I think we all are looking for, not only taking dollar gains out of the market, but also how does our portfolio, how do our assets weigh against Bitcoin? Because remember, if you're holding assets in this market, which is one of the riskiest markets in the world in terms of the trade volatility, I would argue Bitcoin is probably the least risky asset in all of assets. But when you're looking at the volatility, there's a lot of movement. And if Bitcoin is the safest within the entire crypto ecosystem, shouldn't you be, at least if you're holding altcoins, wanting them, if you're going to take on that higher risk, shouldn't you want them to have better gains than the less risky asset in that asset class? That's why you want to pay attention to these kinds of things. Now, I will say, Adam, I've got some thoughts about. I'm not sure if I'm very bullish on Adam for this cycle, even if it does have a run up, because we're seeing a lot of things right now. They're kind of displacing the narrative around what Adam is trying to do. And that also in some ways goes for Polkadot as well. We need to be aware of these things. And that is when you see things like Superchain, like Optimism, Aerodrome, there's quite a few others that are all basically utilizing that OP stack, WorldCoin, and there's a number of others. There's basically baked in interoperability within those chains. Now, that doesn't mean it's operating with everything, but you're seeing a huge sort of movement in the number of top narrative plays that are basically using that stack. And then in addition to that, you have things like Chainlink, which is so interconnected throughout the spaces. I don't think they really meant to be, an interoperability coin, but there's so much integration with Chainlink across so many different projects that in some ways they're kind of becoming, a little bit of that as well. So, I mean, while this is, obviously this is a 3-day chart breaking down, potentially, setting up a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders. I do question the longer term fundamental, and I could be wrong. I'm just bringing forward the considerations you have to make when you're thinking about holding something between now and next year. If you're looking at this as just a trade, maybe this does get, basically break out of this zone. Let's go ahead and come like this. In this case, this has broken out. You see downtrend, boom, 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 broke out. It's riding this. If we do get a bit of a pump, maybe it's a tradable thing. But when you're considering the position versus a trade, understand where it fits in the narrative of the broader crypto ecosystem. Now, near, we haven't checked in on this in a little while. Also, look at inverse head and kind of an inverse head and shoulders trying to set up, but also just kind of trading sideways in the zone. When we get to that next narrative pump, I do think, again, I know that Near is working towards releasing quite a number of really big developments within the Near ecosystem in the coming months. So this is something I would keep my eyes on, because it's also, building very strongly in the AI narrative as well. So, I mean, if this does come back down and scoop down into the 433 or below, for me, that would be that for me, I don't know about for you. You have to make your own decisions. For me, that would be a clear buy opportunity if this does come back down into this zone. Now, where would that be? We can draw a trend line from here. Oops, what's going on there? Let's go like this. Draw a bit of a trend line. Yeah, this zone for me would be a great zone. If it does drop down here into the 4 region, I just keep scooping. That's me. I'm not giving you the advice to do that. Tao's been making some moves, as we know, and it's starting to get a little bit softer. Is it over for Tao? Well, where is the price action on Tao? Tao is pushed up into the order block. It's almost as if this indicator helps provide you the most interesting levels to really watch, or the most likely levels to watch based on liquidity and where it's been in the market. Now, this is on the 3-day chart, so this is cooled off into this, and this is a bit of these sort of formations can really confuse a lot of people, because in some ways this is a rising wedge, but it also could be considered sort of a bull pennant. And when you start getting a very strong bullish boom in the market, this may, oh my God, this bear trend is going to break down. This may come up here and then just continue going, basically legging to the upside. But this is a 3-day chart. Let's get a little bit more tuned into what's going on here. So now we get a better idea. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. We're kind of riding on it right now. So even with this likely having another leg up, I do think if Bitcoin, we have to look at these also in the context of where risk is coming in the market, where the excitement or fear is coming in the market. And if there's a little bit of de-risking in the market, especially we're seeing what's going on in Korea now, in Middle East, and now we got B-2 bombers over. There's so much going on. As bullish as you may be, wanting that next leg, shit, we may get an opportunity at BitTensor back down here at 449. This is the first stop I'll be looking at, point of control. And then the order blocks right here, also with this low, low, low. You see this? It's almost as if these two zones are mapped out based on this bounce, this bounce, this bounce, this bounce. And you see perfectly where this order block is filled out on the chart. Order block meaning a lot of orders came in, not just like you and me. Large orders came in saying, we're believing in this price level. And so look at this. Came up, order block, formed an order block. It's having trouble. If we lose this, this is where I'm looking. Back here in the 540s, potentially all the way down to 520. If that's lost, then we're looking back here, 450. Now, does that make me bearish on BitTensor? No, it makes me prepared if that were to happen. Now, if Bitcoin takes that next move where it's at right now, and it just decides we're going Giga pump, then you're going to see across the board a large percentage of this market is going to have some very, very, very bullish price action. And some things are going to get left behind. Some things are just going to be slower to react. Cardano did that last cycle. Everybody said Cardano's dead. Then about a month later, it just ripped like 17x. Will that happen again this time? I don't know. The market's in a different position right now. The market's in a position now where there's some things that it's not just promises. We're starting to see different crypto projects that are out there that are having not only the meaningful promise that they had, but also development and actual implementation of the promises that were made early on, like in 2017 ICO boom. That was just buying hope. Now we're seeing, okay, there's a huge amount of development happening in this ecosystem, whereas it's not really happening there. But on the flip side, Cardano is very super decentralized. So the fundamentals, which everybody said initially, that's why they were getting in this market. And we're starting to see there's more speculation in price movement in these markets based on where hope and excitement is versus that is, this is or isn't the best designed blockchain and ecosystem. This is also why when you look at the meme coin markets and how it's like, who is putting all this money in meme coins? And I do think, and I'm not advocating for a huge meme coin market. I'm saying, I talked about this last night on Twitter Spaces. I do think when we do get that next wave of huge adopters coming into this market, I do think that there's going to be a pretty eye-opening surge in meme coin volume. There's going to be certain sectors that are just there's going to be some legacy ones. There's going to be a ton of new meme coins. Don't just go throwing life savings at meme coins because you saw somebody else make money. You want to make it really quick also. That's a very quick way to lose your capital. We've got an incredible market. We got a huge number of people, 7 billion, that are not yet actively involved in this market. Will we get 7 billion in this cycle? No, we won't. But when you look at the growth rate of adoption of the internet and overlay that with what's happened with Bitcoin, just Bitcoin so far, Bitcoin's outpacing the rate of adoption the internet did. And if that were to continue in any similarity, then we've got about roughly about 80 to 100 million people globally using Bitcoin now. That's suggesting we're going to have a 10x in the adopter, the number of people using Bitcoin by 2029 to 2031. That's a 10x in user adoption. That will be 10 times more people coming into the space in the next 6 years than we have had total come in from 2009 until now. So what do you think that will do to capital coming into the space? And also people outside Bitcoin, people saying, people don't realize you don't have to buy a Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of a fraction of a Bitcoin. You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin or, $10 billion worth. It's because it's divisible by all those Satoshis. That is important because there's unit bias in these markets. So whether or not you like meme coins or hate them, understand how the market works as a whole. Understand that when we're looking at price action on charts, as Dank said the other day, and I've said, I talk about it in the courses that we have there at BitLab Academy. Every candle tells you a story. That story paints the picture of the psychology of the market. This is a visual representation of the psychology of the market over time. What is a bullish narrative? What is a bearish narrative? Okay, bearish narrative starting to evaporate right here, which means the bullish narrative is getting stronger. Similarly, bull narrative, the bulls are getting weaker, which means the bears are getting stronger. Boom. Same thing when we're talking about what's going on with the adoption coming in. And when we talk about the unit bias, people come in here and they're like, I don't want to buy 0.01 Bitcoin. I want to buy 40 billion, name the meme coin. And they're spending $100 because there's so few, the coin price is so small, they get a huge number of that coin. The number of the coin is irrelevant, everybody. Look at the percentage basis by which you're expecting gains, what risk you're willing to take, where it's situated within the market cap. And if you don't know what that means, back to basics here, guys. Coinmarketcap.com or coingecko.com. And you see these market caps. This rank isn't saying, oh, this is better or worse. This is saying how much money is in this ecosystem. And then you can see next to that how much volume, how much is being traded on a daily basis, aka how liquid that market is. Can you get in and get out easily without moving the price? So, let's see a good example. So look at this. Cardano is at 34 cents. 34 cents, while Avalanche is below it and it's $27. Reminder here, these two prices are irrelevant. This is just a function of how much money divided by how many coins. 34.9, basically 35 billion coins. How many does Avalanche have? Oh, only 406 million. So that's why the price is higher. You need to be paying attention to market cap, the volume, token supply, looking at all the different data. The 24-hour volume, what is the market cap? What is the max supply? So you understand inflation. These are things you need to make sure that you understand now before this market starts moving. Do not start investing and trading just because you think you're going to make money. No, educate yourself. Learn to walk before you run. And again, that's why I'm just reemphasizing this, everybody, because we have an entire course over at lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. You get 15 days free to get in that Discord. We got charts, chart requests, breakdowns, member streams. There's so much going on in there. And then, of course, if you want to upgrade and get the full courses, it's super affordable. It's not like these multi-$100 courses. No, it's like 34. It might be $34 or 45. I can't remember, but you also get the indicators and everything, but we break down everything to make sure that you have a good understanding of what's going on in this market. And of course, remember, if you want to trade with us, you can head over to that link that we have directly below the video, which is right here. Join our free traders group. Boom. It's right there. If you're looking at it on the Twitter page, again, make sure you're hitting that retweet button, hitting that like button. You are going to be entered to win. But if you expand this like this, you'll see these two comments right here. Here are the two links. You can join our free traders group. We're going to have some basic education in there as well, but signals, trades, there's so much money has been being made in there. I shared a few trades the other day. We made 3 trades in a row. There's 29%, 35%, and then 7%. Boom, boom, boom. All in a matter of about 10 minutes. And it's not just me. We got 4 or 5 other traders in there sharing signals all day long. And of course, make sure you sign up to get Nord VPN 4 months free right there. NordVPN.com/BitLab. But that's all I got today, everybody. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Our guest did not show up. I'll see if I can get him on tomorrow. I do got a great interview that I'm doing this afternoon, though, that will be released this weekend. Again, everybody, let's head over to Blockchain Basement. Show some love. Drop a bunch of lab coats in there. and say, I don't know, say anything you want. Let's just go show some love. I got you. I appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful day. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Did I miss any viewer? Okay, we got one member super chat. Thank you again, Istophobic. That's all we got. Adios.